Hey there, everyone. How are you doing? So good to see you again. I'm Daryl Ballard, and I wanted to talk for just a few minutes about setting goals. Setting goals, why it's important, everything about setting goals. Okay, so let's get started. I got a lot of my ideas from Earl Nightingale. It was recommended to me by my mentor. It's a recording that he made in the 1950s, really old, but there isn't anything better. And I recommend, it's just a 32-minute, I think it is, recording. I recommend that you listen to it regularly. In fact, if you listen to it, he'll recommend that you listen to it every day for 30 days and give it a test to see what it does. All right, it's called The Strangest Secret. So look that up, check it out. It'll give you a lot of information. Does it really make a difference? You know, I was a skeptic when it came to this stuff. I certainly believe in positive thinking, but can you set goals and think positively about things and really make major changes in your life? I was a skeptic. But about a little over a year ago, I started working with a mentor who highly recommended it. And I had listened to things like this off and on all along, listened to people like Brian Tracy and Earl Nightingale that I mentioned, and Zig Ziglar and all those people. I certainly found value in it, but could it really make those big changes in my life? But I decided, well, I'm working with this mentor. I really felt like I trusted him. It had been highly recommended by some people that I also trusted. So I said, let's give it a try. Let's just do everything he says to do. And I started noticing that there were some differences, some things changing in my life. And I started to notice some relief of some of the anxiety I had and that sort of thing. So that prompted me to do a little more research on it. And I've read a couple of books on it now. There's a lot going on that we don't understand. And it's fairly recent science. Now, I'm not going to get into the science here, but just know that with some of the latest technology, we can actually see what structures of the brain are doing what, and we're learning that the subconscious mind, or the unconscious mind we might call it, has a lot of effect on us that we don't understand and that we're not conscious of, that we don't have even direct control over. So I decided this is something that really works. So if you're a skeptic, that's fine, but definitely give it a try. And I will put a couple of things in the links down below that you might want to check out if you are a skeptic. But let's just put it this way. If you're trying to start a business, or which is what a lot of us are doing, talking about here, or whatever you're trying to do, very often only about 20% of it is the skills and about 80% of it is the mindset. And that's all because of that subconscious or unconscious mind that we have to control, but again, we don't have direct access to. Okay, so how do we do this? Well, we need to set some goals. And how do you set goals? Well, the first thing you need to do is figure out why you want to accomplish something. Your why is so important. Your why could be family. Your why could be, some of the difficulties, negative things that you've faced in the past that you don't want to face anymore. Lots of different things, but figure out what that why is and then set some goals. How do you figure out what goals to set? Well, some questions that I've heard that I think are good. Ask yourself, what one goal would you set if you knew 100% for sure that you would not fail, that you would never fail? Some of the others, and I bring up several of these, just different ones may help different people. Kind of a morbid thought, but if you only had 6 months to live, what kinds of things would you do? Things like that. Ask yourself some of those types of questions. Figure out what it is that you really want. Okay? Now, once you have done that, write out a goal for yourself. This is going to be a major goal, and it needs to be specific. If your goal is to be happy, that's not really measurable. It needs to be more specific than that. If your goal is to make a lot of money, it needs to be more specific. It may need some time limits on it as well. In other words, I'm going to make $100,000 by such and such a time. That's obviously a more specific goal. If it's, I want a better relationship with someone in my family or something like that, you need to figure out a way that that can be quantified so that you know when you reach that goal. Okay? And then what I suggest you do is put it down on a card. Write it on a card with a date, laminate it, and carry this around with you. After you've done that for a while, had that in your pocket, even touching it in your pocket reminds you of what your goal is and what you're trying to do. Now, why is this important? Well, because we do become what we think about. And you need those positive things that you're constantly thinking about. If you don't control your mind, if you let the negative things take over, because it's easier to think about negative things than positive things, or if you just let your mind wander, that's what you're going to become, is those negative things or not much, if you just kind of don't think about anything and let your mind wander. Okay? So set some goals. Think about those every day. Make sure that those goals are in writing. If they're not in writing, it's not a goal, it's just a little passing fancy. Make sure you look at that multiple times a day. And the other thing that I like to do is once or even twice a day, I try to do it twice a day, I write down my goal, but I also write down positive present tense statements about what it will look like once I reach my goal. Like, I have paid off all my debts, or I paid cash for my house and cars, or, those are money goals, but it can be anything. Your goal may have nothing to do with money, your goal may have to do with relationships or something like that, but positive things. And in fact, write down what it'll look like if you reach your goal in every area of your life. Write down about what relationships will be like. Write down what things you will have. Write down what your finances will look like, what things you have done, where you have gone on vacation, if that's something that you're really interested in. Okay? These goals are so important, and if you don't do this, you will not be successful in your business. That's basically 100% true, because we definitely become what we think about, and we have to control that mind, including the subconscious part of it. And the way we do that is keeping those goals in front of that subconscious mind. We may not even know what's going on, but things are changing in that subconscious mind, and then it is working full time, 24 hours a day, trying to help us establish those goals. Okay? Any of that make sense? If it does, definitely tell me what you think in the comments. Definitely give this a try. Try it out, even if you're a skeptic. If you want to know more about what I'm doing, you can click on that first link below this video and check it out, but definitely give the goals thing a try. I'm Daryl Ballard, and we'll see you on the next video.